Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
hello. How's it going? We missed you guys last week, but we have a very special guest on with us today, somebody very near and dear to our hearts. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. Kim is
Sure.
actually one of the leaders, I would say, at this point of the Global
Leader
Excel,
Supreme.
one of the leader supremes of the Global Excel Group. She
She's
is
the
actually,
Leader Supreme's leader.
yeah, exactly. She is Leader Supreme's leader. So.
Yeah.
Leader Supreme squared.
Um, she is actually Daniel's our sponsor, and she helps us a lot with our group meetings and stuff. So thank you so much for joining us, Kim. Tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been in the business, and all that good stuff.
So I'm old. I've been in the business since the mid-90s. We won't say how old. Started out as a brand new agent, worked for a Century 21 office. I'm in Eastern North Carolina. I've been here for quite some time. If you hear noises in the background, it's actually my cat. She has joined me at the table and she's tossing things off onto the floor now. At any rate, sorry, that was a distraction for me for just a second. I
Welcome to our
stayed with,
show.
yeah, stayed with Century 21 for a while. A couple of friends of mine wanted to get together and buy a Remax franchise, and I really didn't know much about Remax. They weren't in our area at the time. I mean, I knew who it was, but I just didn't know much about it. We ended up buying a Remax franchise in the year 2000, and I renewed that franchise by myself one time and then took on another business partner. We ran probably the number one company in the area. I had 40 to 50 agents, 8 to 10 staff people. And at the end of that long run, I decided that I needed to do something different. And I'm with this company I didn't even want to look at, EXP. It's changed my life in so many ways. It's the best thing that probably has ever happened to me professionally. So here I sit.
Well, we are very happy you decided to make that leap, because who knows, maybe none of us would even be here.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That is. I remember meeting a while back with Daniel, and he was kind of, I think, switching over to EXP, and I think with like laws and stuff, he was very careful with like what he was saying. And I was like, what are you talking about, this like virtual like thing? I really like didn't understand it at the time. And then I think as like time progressed, it made a more like name like for itself. And then I've seen it like more out and whatnot. So then at that point in time, I felt more comfortable joining EXP. And like since then, it's just been nothing but great. And it just seems that people also, not just EXP, but I would say the Global Excel Group, I guess, shout out to Global Excel Group. I just feel like, the people who end up joining our group, we, in a way, we're so different, but I feel like we all have that like pay it forward mentality, and we're all like very helpful. I know for sure when I have a question, and I know you and I talked at like 9 o'clock at night, Kim, and I know I've called Christian, dozens of times, and Kendra as well. So just a bundle of support here.
So it's refreshing. I think everybody that's in our group feels the same way. They feel supported. I feel supported. It's a collaboration between a lot of different people with different backgrounds and different years in real estate. And it makes it exciting. And I'm just happy to be part of it.
We love it. And we, like I said, definitely thank you for being on. Now, you kind of skipped, I'm very surprised because you have a very diverse background. You've kind of done it all. And you're the first guest on our show that's not in the state of Florida. So
Really?
that's also very exciting.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody else has been.
Well, Sarah.
Oh.
Sarah's a hybrid, and I think she was in Florida still when she came on, maybe. No,
And
she had
still
just moved.
licensed there, so she's still.
Yeah, she's a hybrid. She's a hybrider.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Alex knows this. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I was born and raised there and moved to this area with my first husband, who was active duty Marine Corps. I ended up staying. My one child, who is my assistant, it's my adult daughter, who's in her mid-30s. She's here. My son lives in Colorado Springs and my mom is here. So this is home now.
Absolutely. That is super fun. And Colorado Springs is really nice too. So is he in the military? Oh, I just know they have a base over there, so I wasn't
Oh
sure.
yeah, he's near the base. That's true. Yeah.
But tell us, I know, so I mean, do you want to dig deep into like the lending side of things? Because you're not just a realtor.
Well, I'm not actually a lender. I owned a mortgage company. I did have an NMLS number. I know a lot about mortgages and different products, but I never pursued the LO portion of that field simply because you you can't do too many things at one time. You know, I was running, I was the BIC, I list and sold full time, plus I was overseeing property management, which, you know, hundreds and hundreds of homes. I have some philanthropic things that are near and dear to me. So I didn't want to spread myself so thin. I was interested in doing the LO portion. I just never thought that I could do anything with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a lot to juggle. I did not know. I thought you were a little LO. So see, clarification is amazing.
My
But now,
partners
like,
were LOs.
oh, well, see, that's where it comes from. But yeah, at least you have a lot of knowledge in that area. And now you kind of help with newer realtors. Are you still, tell our viewers, are you still in my brain just totally took a loss, but are you still buying and selling, like helping people buy and sell?
Oh yeah, full time.
Yeah.
Just like
Wow.
you guys.
That I did not know that either. I thought that
Yep.
you were just full-time coaching, which is kind of nice.
Oh no. I list and sell full time, have an assistant. I don't take buyers out maybe as much as I used to back in the day, but I have plenty of listings. I have a new construction subdivision with a very cool female builder. Give a shout out to Jennifer. And I don't know that I'll ever get away from that. I really have stayed passionate about it. I'm not burnt out. Although I do love mentoring. I mean, I love brand new agents. I don't see myself getting away from that either. I think that it's important to want agents to do better. We have to work with them. So why not be involved in their lives, try to make a difference.
I agree. And you've helped us tremendously. So that's actually a good pivot point. We talk a lot about new agents and how we can get started. And you had a really good information. We've kind of done a whole meeting about this, but what are some of your tips for new agents that are just starting, especially in this market?
Want to show up. That doesn't necessarily mean to a physical office space, because as you know, EXP is cloud-based, but you do have to show up. So if you're going to work from home, you need to have a schedule. You need to keep yourself on that schedule and not deviate from it. And if you're distracted, you need to find somewhere else to go. Find a coffee shop. If things are hectic at home, you're not going to be able to concentrate. I think that some of the things that we've talked about recently that are important are, boosting these properties on KV Core. It costs almost nothing to do it, and the leads just come in. That is no different than a team leader providing an agent on the team leads. So for those agents who are concerned that they can't necessarily make it on their own, maybe that's something that they need to investigate. Some agents do need to be on a team. I don't think that they need to be on a team for the rest of their life, but sometimes they start out with somebody who's really going to take them under their wing. There's a lot of good team leads out there. So, they need to see where they fit in this market.
Absolutely agree. I never thought about the property boost being kind of like a team leader handing you leads, because you're still trying to convert those leads. That's a good point.
The property boosts are really what the team leads are doing. If they're paying a tremendous amount of money for Zillow, those leads are still coming in, have to be scrubbed and given to the people on the team, or some people don't scrub them. They just give out the leads, just like you would get organically from doing it yourself. So if you think you're savvy, you can do it yourself.
Right? I like it.
Well, I tell people when I'm interviewing new agents for our group, I tell people that, at least from my experience, I would say, like, you can correct me, Kim, but I believe like 80 to 90% of what we're doing is already like cloud-based. Because it's the contract. At the end of the day, I mean, there is a relationship and there's other moving pieces. But from my understanding, from what I've observed, is we're putting these contracts together to give the title, and it all like comes together. But I believe a majority of that, at least all of my transactions so far, have been DocuSign. So no longer are the days where, I know Christian does bring like a handwritten one, I believe, or something to like her.
My first listing agreement, yes, I
Yes.
make people sign with a pen just so that we can have it done. And then I come back and then normally have them DocuSign later on, because things change during the, like things can happen in 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm like, this is our tentative plan. This is our tentative date, everything, and then as it's like a few days beforehand, then I'm like, okay, here you go. This is our definite list price. You don't want to set a list price, 3-4 weeks in advance when they still have painting and repairs and cleaning and stuff like that, because this market's too wild for that. So, I have them do a second one, a more definite one later on.
The official. And that's just the draft, right?
And
Like,
that's with the DigiSign, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just where I was going with that is just like majority of what we already do is quote unquote cloud-based, if you want to call it that. And the majority of it is like that contract, but just as Kristen said, there's more pieces to it. So when I'm talking to new agents or people who are just looking at EXP, I say, well, if you're comfortable with just, learning, how to get the DocuSigns, everything's just kind of gonna like fall in place for you. And I tell them, no matter where you go, I've been at 2 brick and mortars previously to here. I know we also do DocuSign. So as long as you feel comfortable with that, you're going to succeed if you want to succeed at EXP.
Sure. And I'll give you a tip too. I mean, I do almost everything electronically, except for sometimes, people have challenges. Older folks don't feel comfortable with it, or that some of them don't even have a computer. So, you visit them, but ultimately send them what they need to sign in the view only mode so that you can go over it with them. What you don't want, and this is a liability thing, is for you to send it to them and them to click and it's stamped when you sent it and when they clicked it. And there's only a difference of maybe a minute.
There was no reading going on then.
Right. There's no reading going on. So they don't know what questions to ask. So I usually send it in view only mode. And that way, if I need to make any changes, I can change it. And it forces them to read, you hope. Then you review it with them, then they sign it. And that way, if there's ever a problem and you come back later, the real estate commission doesn't say, you sent it to them at 11:02 and they signed it at 11:03. Just food for thought.
Yes.
That's
Great
a great
advice.
tip.
I was going to say, but even with that though, that's something that's done, if you want to say like on the cloud, or it's like
Sure.
you're calling them. I do see that as well, and that's why I got my new laptop. I haven't used this feature, but it turns into like a tablet, and that's why I want to do for people who maybe don't feel comfortable or not as like tech savvy. I can pull up the contract on my computer, and we can scroll through it together and just answer questions and continue moving forward, and just to keep it like, I guess you can say like semi on the cloud, but still it's like just like you're saying, like a read only version of the contract, but I could have it on my computer still and still like scroll through it with them, like sitting it's like at a coffee shop or somewhere.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
They can sign with their finger or like a stylus or whatever too, right? So I mean, my
Sign in person.
92-year-old grandfather still does that all the time whenever someone comes to his house and they're like, here, and they're like, use your finger. He's like, what do you mean use my finger? But he does it. And, never had a cell phone or computer or anything like that in his life, but it's easy enough.
You just got to walk them through it though.
Yeah.
Now that was a very good point. Everything is kind of electronic nowadays, and a lot of people are taking up a similar model to EXP. So clearly, Glenn Sanford has trailblazed on that regard. Kim, so kind of pivoting, same concept, I guess. we're talking about virtual world, how are you seeing marketing change with all of these updates and technology?
Obviously, things have changed tremendously, I would say in the last 10 years, but more so just in the last 24 to 36 months that I've noticed. You know, people are moving away from the brick and mortar franchise models and going to cloud-based solutions. That was especially noticeable during COVID. And for somebody like me, I always thought that I had to have a physical office space. I have had some challenges along the way, and I've had two physical offices in the last year. I let one of them go, and I have the other one, but I'm finding that I'm not really using that one either. Occasionally I'll go in and meet someone there. I don't like to meet people for the first time at a property. Then again, I'm not actually actively showing buyers unless they've been referred to me or there's somebody that I've worked with before. So, you know, the cloud-based solution is perfect, I think, for people at all different levels. And as far as the technology is concerned, it's interesting to me how you feel physically and emotionally sitting in the world in the auditorium next to your friends that may not be even in your same town. Like you and I could go sit and chat while well, you wouldn't want to chat while there's a presentation going on, but you know, your physical body's not there, but you really do feel a sense of, I don't know what word I want to use.
Community.
Yeah, it is community. It's a different culture. You still feel like you're part of something even though you're not physically there.
Agreed. When I first started, I was the total weirdo that went into the world and would just randomly start talking to people. Just so like I could get to know people because I didn't know anybody, you know what I mean, besides this group. So like I would literally, you know, go and sit by people that were by themselves on the bench and be that weirdo. So
Well,
I
the
could
first
act
time that
surprised,
I
but I'm
went
not.
in, what?
I said I could act surprised, but I'm not. That's totally Kendra.
So I have to tell you, I don't go into the world very often. And I know some people are in it all day long. I mean, I think we just use it as we need to. I did tell another agent that was older who said they weren't interested in the world. I said, you don't need to step foot in there for anything. I mean, if you have a pay problem, you can text somebody and get immediate support. I've never seen support like EXP has. I have friends that own other franchises. You know, obviously I've owned a franchise. I thought we had the best support out there. This blows anything away, anything. And I've looked at all the models. I actually tied up a Realty One Group franchise before I made the leap to EXP. I was looking for something. I just didn't know what that something was. I was looking for EXP. I just didn't know it yet, is what I'm trying to say. At any rate, you know, I just, getting back to the world thing, you know, you get a lot of value from going into the world. And my first experience was with Chris Bear, who used to be the VP of US growth. You guys know Chris. And Chris took me in the world. We were in the same room, but we were each logged in on our computers, and I was in my Remax office. He came to speak to all the agents in my office, and he was standing next to, I don't know, 3 or 4 people. And I'm just standing there like, you know, like, what do I do now? I mean, I really felt like I was in the middle of some type of video game. And the guy from HGTV's Flip or Flop was standing next to him, and they were having a conversation. And I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't realize at the time that he had also joined EXP. He's an EXP agent. So it was kind of cool. I don't do it very often. I'll go in there if I feel like having a fun day, you know, drive a speedboat or watch the fireworks on Friday.
no, that's true, right? I don't go in there as often anymore. I mean, you guys probably don't either. Once you get through the initial training and stuff, unless you have like a broker question, that's the only time I'll go in there now. But to Ken's point, you can do email, you have a phone number, you know what I mean? So even if you don't prefer to go into the world, you have other options, right? But there is some fun in going and actually seeing people. So
I was amazed the first time that I wrote to Anne via email and got a response in like 10 minutes. I'm like,
That's amazing.
I thought I was going to be waiting days, but no, it was like 10, 15 minutes later. And I'm like, she's the broker for all of Florida. How am I? But no, I did. And yeah, I need to go into EXP World sometime and change my avatar because it's definitely out of date. And then Alex, did you have to go there for your commercial training? Because like for my express offers and relocation and stuff, I had to go in there for that.
Yes, and I was kind of grinning listening to Kim's story about, how it feels very like real, just the way it's like set up. So we had like it was all day training. It was from 8 till I think like 5 we would go, sometimes even go after 5 o'clock. But we'd have these like breaks, and it was kind of funny because I started talking to this random other agent because on our break we both took our avatar out of the auditorium, and we're like, why did we just do that? Like, you can just walk away from your computer, go on a break, like, but
Right.
it feels that real. It feels like that real, especially like I think it was like 3 days. And you're there like all day. So when they're like, okay, we're gonna take a 15-minute break, your mind's thinking, okay, I'm gonna get up and like leave. So like you're having your little avatar guy like leave the auditorium as you go on your break. So yeah, it's a really great tool. To add to all that, I'll just say that unfortunately, though, there are I feel like there are some people who do sign up and they don't get, I think, what we built here with our group. And I know there's other groups, really great groups out there too. But I feel like we have like so much support here. And just like we were saying before, like I barely ever go in there unless it's a training with our work chat. I feel like we're all chatting in there. Everyone's asking questions. Everyone's bouncing ideas off each other. And to me, that feels like a Facebook chat without like the politics and stuff. It's just like down to business. Like, okay, this is a meaningful chat because I'm gonna get paid from like whatever questions I may have. Someone's gonna give me a solution and move forward with a deal.
And slightly ridiculous at times, but yes.
Yeah, it can be.
Fun.
I have nothing to do with that.
Not at all. Not at all. You got to mix it up, right? You can't all be work all the time. But yeah, it's nice to be able to get immediate answers from multiple different sources.
I mean, if I was in an office building, it would be the same way. So
Fair. That's fair.
Well, you can get that feel. I mean, I've met other people in the world. We sat down at a picnic table. You can put a tent around you so that you're having a private conversation that no one can hear. You're sitting there working and you're talking to them. It's really no different than sitting at a coffee shop.
yeah, when you sit at those tables with the chairs and then
So
the
again,
little
for people who feel like they can't work from home, but they don't really have a physical office space to go to, it does give you that simulation.
Mhm.
Not only that, you can do conference rooms too. Maybe that's something we should talk to Daniel about. Like every once in a while, just get a conference room.
I gotta check my avatar because somebody mentioned a minute ago about they had to change theirs.
Mhm.
Mine was in flip flops and a witch's hat, way beyond Halloween. So
Well, you have snow on your background in meetings when it's not winter. So
I'm trying to cause attention. I want to see if
I like
anybody's
it.
paying attention.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Gotta throw little monkey wrenches in there. That's what you gotta do. So last question. Okay, so talking about new agents, what is the most helpful hint or tip that you can give to a new agent starting out besides showing up?
Surround yourself with people that are better than you, that are willing to spend time with you and invest in you so that you know where you're going and you need a plan. No plan is a plan to fail. So these people that you're with need to show you how to write a business plan. It needs to be in writing. You have to have goals. I mean, if you don't have any goals, I sold 3 houses in the last 90 days and, I don't really know if I need to sell 6 more or 60 more. I mean, you need to get them in the mindset of having the business plan up front because this is a business, and then work from there.
Absolutely agree. What's the saying? You are the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. So, and it doesn't have to be in person because virtually you guys help me get on track. So It works.
Nice that we
Teamwork
have
makes a
this.
dream work.
That's right.
It absolutely does. All right. Well, I don't want to get kicked off. Kim, thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you, Kim.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks for having me. I really have enjoyed it.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. We'll have to have you on again, and maybe we'll have you and Daniel on together because I feel like that would be
Oh, that'd be
fun
fun.
Two guests at
fun.
once.
yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, I felt like this was like when you're thanking your parents for meeting. Cause you're like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
We really
Aw.
wouldn't, like, you know, so butterfly effect.
Yep.
Yeah, that would
Love
be
it.
really cool. We'll have to talk about Daniel and my first conversation and how we met, and
Ooh.
we'll
How
go from
this
there.
got started, you know? I think that'd be a good topic.
I agree.
All right, y'all.
Awesome.
Well, again, thank you.
All
And
right.
everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Kim.